This is a 1959 Ford Thames, spelled Thames, named after the Thames River in England. I think they call it the River Thames though. So this is a import to North America. So it's got the left-hand drive steering wheel. And I think they also called this thing a 300E. And from what I understand, I believe that the chassis itself is called an Anglia, and then you could get a few different body styles on it. So they had the four-door version and the estate version, which would have had glass windows back here, where this one has steel sides. But this was the van version, the delivery van version. So it's a pretty interesting vehicle. Now my parents have had this thing since the 70s. So it's been in the family for a long time, and I've actually been hesitant on introducing this project because this isn't the first time I've tried to work on this thing, and it just never goes anywhere because there's always been a lack of parts for it. Like you can see that this thing is rough, you know, it needs a lot. It needs those rockers, it needs these, I guess you call these van corners, I don't know. So it's always needed those, and in all the years past I was never able to get those parts, but I was finally able to. I got them from a company called Express Steel in the United Kingdom. So I've got the rockers, and I got these wheel arches. Those will help out a lot. And these are the van corners. They're pretty long. I think they're more for the car version, but it's okay because I think I'll end up cutting them right here, because right here is basically where that wheel arch is supposed to go to. And I got rockers inner and outer, so it's going to help out a lot. And then, like, another reason why this thing never goes anywhere project-wise is because I get too much input on it. You know, I'm the one that works in these things, and I'm not really looking for everyone's input on what color I should paint it and how I should do it. And like right now, my dad is talking about he wants a V6 in there, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather get an original engine, but we'll see. I'm mainly going to focus on the body work for now, but if this thing ends up not getting worked on again, you know, well, at least I kind of got a cool little video out of this. So that bumper needs some straightening. And what was really cool about this originally is, like, you could use the key to start it, and you could also, well, you would still use the key, but you could put a rod in there and crank it to start it. So that was kind of cool. Open up the back here. It's a little bit dark, but so I got some pictures that were taken in the 70s. And then this is the back end. You can see my mom had carpeted everything, and that was so they could get these RV plates for it, which you can't even see them anymore. They're so rotten, but the date on there is 75, last time it was plated. See, it's got the RV plates on it back then. That's my oldest brother. And there's another one of the back end, my oldest brother and my cousin. But yeah, so my mom's always been upset that this thing was taken apart like it was, and because so back in the 70s, my mom used to buy my dad Hot Rod magazine, and what she says is he saw a Ford Thames in there and ran out to the garage and took this thing apart. But the problem with that story is I bought all those Hot Rod magazines, and I never found a Ford Thames in any of them. I bought it in 1974, 75, and 76, and I looked through every one of them page by page. But what I did find was a Hillman with a V8. And I think, if anything, that's probably what my dad saw, because it looks very similar to this. But I really don't want to do that with this, and that's kind of like the argument I'm having now. See, I want to put an original engine in there, because there's be no cutting. If you put a V6 in there or a V8, you have to cut the firewall, and you know, there's not enough room in there as is. The seats are just sitting back there, but they're supposed to be up here, you know, right under the steering wheel. And if you want to put a V8 in there, you got to cut all that stuff away, or even a V6. But we'll open up the engine bay in a minute. guys. It's a little rough. You know what's really interesting though? I was looking at this because I was looking for all these taillights and everything, trying to find them to buy, and I did find them all on that Ford spare parts website. But what's weird about this, being that this is a North America export or import, whatever you want to call it, is it has these amber lights in the back. And if they went to North America, they should have had red lights in the back. So I think that's weird how it's got amber ones on there. And I was thinking about maybe I'll buy new amber ones and just put them on there, but it'd also be an issue if you get pulled over, because to buy these lenses, both sides, and then the front signal lenses is going to be about $350. So I don't want to have to do that twice. But so my plans are, I don't really know what color I want to paint it. My dad says black. I think that's a huge mistake, and I don't want to paint something black. But what I would kind of like to do is, so my dad painted this thing in the 70s in this bass boat type paint, and I would kind of like to recreate that, you know, not so much flake, but still like more blue than silver, but probably a little bit of silver metallic to the blue. I'd really like to do that. And then a few things that I would also like to do is I would like to get these things chromed. I've seen that done on them and it looks really good. And same for like this grill. That exterior ring is stainless, but I would like to get that all chromed too. And then the bumper needs straightening and re-chromed, and a few little things like that. Maybe even take these off and get them chromed, but it's a lot of money, but I think it's worth it. Even these back hinges, get them chromed would be nice. But it's a pretty cool van, isn't it? We'll get the hood opened. There we go. It swings forward, but there's not much room in here. I think it's like 20 inches or so from here to there, which isn't even enough for a V6, so I don't know why I constantly got to hear about putting a V6 in here. But what I would really like to do is just get an original engine, or even original style, something small that's just going to drop right in there where I don't have to do a bunch of work to make it go. But there's not too much rot up front. Where the battery goes, a little bit of rot, but not that bad. I need to try to find a dash bezel, because this one's all broken. And I think that's a push button starter. Like, I think you could either turn the key on and crank it with the key, or you could turn the key on and push that button, or go up front and crank start it. And here's the turn signals. Kind of unique. My mom did some deputy dog decor in there in the 70s. I had to take the emblems off because they were just sitting on there. Yeah, I mean, that's the van. Hopefully I get to actually get somewhere on it, but who knows? Who knows? All right, well, until I make an update, that's it.